Okay, in section 2.6, we're going to talk about the distributive property. All right, with the distributive property, we kind of multiply. Distributive property is multiplication. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to multiply between more than one term. All right, we're going to multiply the same number through one term. All right, so I have some examples for you to start out with distributive properties so you can understand what it is. And you're going to use the distributive property throughout most of the course. All right, so first we have just variables, a times b plus c. All right, and what we're going to do here is all you're going to do is distribute the a. So it's going to be a times b and then a times positive c. So you get a times b plus a plus c. So you're multiplying a times both b and c. Okay, how it looks with some examples you might see is we have 4 times x plus 3. Alright, so you're going to do 4 times x and then 4 times positive 3. Now 4 times x is just 4x, and then 4 times 3 is 12. Alright, you could also do distributive property in reverse, but you won't see it too often. A times b, a times c. Alright, so you get b times a and then c times a. Okay, very similar to the top one, you're just working kind of in reverse. Alright, so we have 2 times x and then 2 times 7 plus 2 times 7. Well, 2 times x is 2x and 2 times 7 is 14. Alright, third example, we deal with a negative sign or subtraction. So we have a times b minus c. So we do a times b, which is ab, and then a times c, which is minus a times c. Alright, how it would look here is 6 times x minus 3, so we do 6 times x minus, so bring the minus sign over, and then 6 times 3, which is 6x minus 18. Alright, negative a times b minus c, so you do negative a times b, which is negative ab, then negative a times c. Alright, so we have negative ab, and then we have this minus sign, okay, and then we're going to minus negative a times c. What negative a times c is negative ac. Alright, and then we have two minus signs next to each other, so that's a plus sign. Okay, the other way you could look at it is just doing negative a times negative c. Okay, you decide how you want to look at it and go from there. Let's look at an example. Negative 2 times x, alright, which is negative 2 times x, and then minus negative 2 times 2. Alright, so you have negative 2x minus negative 2 times negative 2 times 2 is negative 4, which turns out to be negative 2x plus 4. Okay, the other way you could do this is, again, you would do negative 2 times x, alright, and then negative 2 times negative 2. It's a negative sign right here. Let's fix that up. Times negative 2. Alright, forgetting about the minus sign you brought over. Okay, so negative 2x, and then negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. Alright, it's positive, and we need an operation in between both terms, so it's plus 4. Okay, same thing. Alright. Okay, so again, distributive with addition, everything's going to turn out positive. So it's 4 times x, 4 times 6. 4 times x plus 4 times 6. Okay, 4x plus 24. All right, 3 times 2x plus 4. So we're going to do 3 times 2x. All right, and I'm going to do this one like the last problem with the previous problem with all the negatives. I'm not going to write the operation down. I'm just going to do 3 times 4. So I didn't write the plus sign. I'm going to wait till I simplify everything yet. All right, so 3 times 2x, you multiply the coefficients, you get 6x. And then 3 times 4 is 12. All right, it's a positive 12, so I'm going to put a positive sign in between both terms. 5 times 3x, 5 times 1. 5 times 3x, 5 times 1. 5 times 3x is 15x. 5 times 1 is 5. It's a positive 5, so I'm going to put a positive sign in between both terms. All right, let's look at some subtraction. 2 times x minus 3. So we do 2 times x. And then we do either minus 2 times 3 or 2 times negative 3. And then we'll worry about the sign between the terms later. So 2 times x is 2x. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. So we just have 2x minus 6. And we have a sign, an operation in between both terms. So we're all set. All right, negative 3 times x, negative 3 times negative 6. Negative 3 times x, negative 3 times negative 6. Well, negative 3 times x is negative 3x, and negative 3 times negative 6, we have two negatives, which means it's going to be a positive when you multiply, positive 18. So plus 18, negative 3x plus 18. Negative 5 times 3x, and negative 5 times 3x. Negative 5 times negative 1. Alright, negative 15x. And negative 5 times negative 1 is positive 5. Alright, now we have negative x minus 4. Okay, similar to when we just have x by itself. Remember, it's like an invisible 1 in front of that x. Alright, we have that invisible 1 here, but we also have it outside the distributive sign. So we're going to do negative 1 times x, negative 1 times 1x, and then we're going to do negative 1 times negative 4. Alright, negative 1 times negative times x equals negative 1x, and then negative 1 times negative 4 is positive 4. So we get negative 1x plus 4 or negative x plus 4. Okay, now what you can notice about our answer compared to our original problem is that when we have a negative outside the parentheses, all the signs just change inside the parentheses. The x becomes negative, and then the negative 4 becomes positive 4. Alright, so it's a kind of quick way to do these distributive properties with a negative out in front. Okay, using that method, look at the next problem. Negative 2x plus 6. Well, the 2x is positive, it's going to become negative. And then the 6 is positive, it's going to become negative as well. And that will be your answer. Alright, let's look at it in terms of distributing. Negative 1 times negative 2 is negative 2x. Negative 1 times 6 is negative 6. Alright, let's look at a word problem that involves area, or let's look at area and how distributive property might help us. Alright, area of a square or rectangle is just base times height. So area equals base times height. All right. So whatever this is in here, this area, this whole region, is just base times the height. Whatever this is times whatever this is. Okay, so the area of this rectangle here is the base times the height. Now the base here is 4, so we're going to sub in the value of 4 in for B. And the height is 5, so we're going to sub in the value of 5 for the height. Well, what's 4 times 5? It's 20. So 20, whatever the units are, squared for the area. Okay, here we have a rectangle, and we have a variable here. Okay, our base, remember it's base times height, our base is this, it's the x and the 3. Well, what's x and 3? It's x plus 3. Alright, so our base is x plus 3, and our height is 2. Well, using the distributive property, we could simplify this. We may not be able to solve for it because we don't have a value for x, but we could simplify it. Alright, so we do 2 times x, and then 2 times 3. Oops. Which you get 2x plus 6. Alright, and if you look at this, well, what's the area of this region? Well, the base of this region is 3, and the height of this region is 2. So 3 times 2 is 6. Okay, what's the base of this region? It's x. What's the height? 2. Well, what's 2 times x? 2x. So we have 2x and we have 6. What was our answer? 2x plus 6. Alright, why don't you try some on your own in the textbook and ask me questions if you have any.